Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back at it. If you're here, that means we are too.
That's great. Yeah. Unless you're hearing us in your sleep, and then you're in trouble.
On this glorious sunny day.
Yes. If you're hearing it in your sleep, then you got bigger issues. Anyway, it's Tom and George. Steve is on vacation for the 130th time this year, and I hope he's having fun.
Steve's life, yeah.
I want his life too.
He's probably barefoot skiing because, of course, his feet are as large as water skis.
That's right.
So he can do that kind of stuff. It's our pleasure to bring back on a perennial favorite here on the show. It's Donna Shane. She is one of the owners of Syracuse Dog Fence, SyracuseDogFence.com.
Thanks for having us here. We are great.
Thank you.
Enjoying the summer weather.
Yes. All good stuff.
Yep.
And so Donna and Stan were nice enough to finally, I pulled the plug and said, let's do the dog fence for our two dogs. And we have Mikey the Beagle, for those of you who keep up with the show.
Who we've known for almost 20 years.
I know. Can you believe that?
Is he that old? Oh,
well,
wow.
Yeah, from way out
not 20.
Not 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But when I used to run the station out in Oneida, yeah, they came on the show way back then.
Okay.
Steve brought him on.
He was a puppy.
He was a puppy then. Yeah, he was just about a year old. So there's Mikey, and then there's Layla, and Layla's about 3 years old, 3 or 4.
She's a little sweetie.
Yeah, and she's a, what is she called? I can't remember. Oh, she's a German Shepherd and a...
Australian Shepherd or...
something like that.
I don't remember now.
Not a Sheltie, but like a Sheltie. What the heck is that thing called? Border Collie.
Thank you.
Stan from in the back. That's wonderful.
In the back of the room.
And she's kind of springy. So we didn't know how they were going to react to this whole pet containment system, but it has been wonderful and a wonderful experience. And I don't have any leads in the backyard now getting tangled, and I don't have to, bend over and unclick them and then click them on and then worry about where they're going to go and all that. So let's talk about what the pet containment system is and what you guys have done over this past 23 years now.
Okay. Well, basically what it is, it's a system that allows us to condition the dogs to respect their boundaries.
Yes.
Using Pavlov's theory of association, the dogs experience a sound and the shock.
Yes.
I know if Steve was here, he would say don't use that word, but yes, there is a static.
There is a tingle.
There's a static correction, but in the beginning, it's a very, very low static correction that would feel like your hand is falling asleep. And it's not continuous. It's only instantaneous.
Right.
And then with the visual of the flags and then the experience of turning the dogs away from those flags, they learn that when they experience this adverse action, this is the reaction you need to take by turning away.
And don't you get the audible first before it tingles?
Well, we can do that, but right now we're combining the sound and that tingle at the same time because we want the dog to understand why they're getting what that sound means.
Sure.
So that later on when they are respecting the boundaries, if the family felt it was necessary to give the dog that immediate sound and then the timed shock after that, or correction after that, then we have the ability to set that. There's a lot of versatility in the appliance that we're using.
Sure. And you know what? It's she's right. It's just a correction. It is not anything that's terrible. If people think that there's this awful, like you're electrocuting somebody, you're really not.
You're not zapping the dogs on the way out.
And I'm telling you firsthand, it's wonderful. And I got to give you a great example, a kind of an aha moment. We were sitting on the new patio, right? And Mikey was just, sniffing around the boundaries. He's gotten more comfortable being out in the yard and just, enjoying himself. Yep. And there were some people walking in the front yard yard. So you can see the front yard kind of from our backyard.
Yep.
And Mikey started to creep around slowly, and he got over, and I was watching him and wondering what he was going to do. He got over to the side of the house, and he felt the correction, and he immediately just turned around. And it was like his head just went down, and he turned around real quick and came back, and I thought, oh, how perfect. This is wonderful.
See, that's because one of the scenarios that we did for your yard was we brought the wire in close to the house on the
Yes.
sides so that he couldn't run from the back to the front, so that they could keep an eye on him. There are some families and some communities where if the dog is running loosely in the front yard and the people walking or riding their bikes
Yes.
don't realize that there's a system there, and that dog starts running towards the perimeter, even though we know that dog is going to stop, that other person doesn't know that all the time.
Yeah.
So by pinching the sides, we have now given you the peace of mind to know that Mikey and Layla are where you put them.
Yes.
And they can't get to the other
And
side.
folks, I tell you, once they get used to it, they really, we let them out in the front and in the back, and they just sit wonderfully. And now they're more comfortable playing. Both Stan and Donna had told me, get them used to regular activity within the yard. So we
and
throw
that's
the ball
important.
around.
It's really important to include that play in with the training process, because if a dog has been on a leash for an extended period of time, they don't know that they can move around freely on their own.
Yeah.
All they know is that leash and that immediate perimeter around them.
Right.
Okay? Once you incorporate that play in the positive part of the yard, now when they experience the negative, they know that they have safe areas in the positive part of the yard where they can go to.
How long does it take to train a dog to not go through the containment?
It takes a total of, to know completely, about 3 to 6 months. Okay. But the initial training process takes anywhere from, depending on the dog and the age, anywhere from 3 days to a week.
Oh, wow.
The flags only have to stay up for as long as you feel comfortable that the dogs are aware of their perimeter. They get diminished slowly so that the dogs can switch their visual from those flags of the perimeter to the actual landscaping of the perimeter as you remove those flags gradually.
Right.
And again, it's the repetition and the continuity of that immediate reaction when they hit that specified area.
Yes.
A lot of people with fences don't think that this is a viable tool for them because, they already have the fence. Well, what happens if you have a dog who's digging or jumping the fence? Well, now he's going to experience that in addition. So again, it's learning, it's teaching the dog what is good and what is bad and where they should go.
And sounded like what you're saying with Tom is you custom the layout for each person.
Yes. And each dog is going to be on their individual correction level. Layla may be on...
She's a little less.
Than Mikey, because Mikey has a higher prey drive. She has... her drive is more visual because of the breeds that she is. She doesn't have the scent. She's visual. Mikey is a scent hound, and I've seen him. He puts his nose down like my beagles. We are now up to our 8th beagle. 9th beagle on the system in the 23 years that we've been doing this.
Wow.
And I will tell you that I will train a beagle. I love little dogs, but I will train beagles and pit bulls and labs
They're
more
all
than
able.
a smaller dog. Anytime.
We got a small dog, you can't train him to do anything.
Well, that's just it. We excuse that. We excuse the behavior of the small dog because they are adorable and they're sweet. And look, don't do that.
That's wonderful. But we've had a great time with it, and I promise you, I'm going to take some videos of the dogs just enjoying and how you can see all the landscape and you don't have to worry about anything, and just all good stuff.
When you do that, let us know because we'll bring Cash over, who's our friendly guy. He's been here,
right?
And we'll do some scenarios of what happens when other people walk by. That's
good.
And
neat.
Stuff.
That'll be good for people to see. That's Donna Shane right there, owner of Syracuse Dog Fence, SyracuseDogFence.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us again.
Real simple number too. So I would encourage people to call and get a free quote. 415-5555. 5555. You have a great rest of the day.
Looking forward to talking to whoever calls.
You got it.
Awesome.
Paul Zobel's up next, owner of Medicare Paul, right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.